on this day, the road to WrestleMania is seen clearly. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 43 of Under the Middle Rope. I'm your host, Jose Taboada. There is your WrestleMania countdown on the top left as, yes, the road to WrestleMania has begun. What a Royal Rumble pay-per-view this past Sunday. Can never go wrong with a Royal Rumble. So much to discuss in our Royal Rumbles fallout today. Everybody's back from last week, including Wolf, who was supposed to be with us for the roulette, who was supposed to be with us for last week's predictions, is here, and there's not much time to waste, so all I can say is just sit back, relax, and enjoy our Royal Rumble fallout. Hey everybody, welcome to the discussion. Full house! We have a full house. Wolf is back. He was supposed to be with us in the last 2 weeks for the Rumble Roulette and predictions, but he's here now. Pete, Nick, RJ, they're all back. Fresh off of an interesting Royal Rumble, to say the least. I mean, the road to WrestleMania has begun. I know which we're all very excited about. But before we go on any further, I do want to discuss the results of the predictions. And I actually just checked about 10, 20 minutes ago, and it was closer than we thought. So at the end of, by the time that the men's Rumble came around, Nick and Wolf were tied with 4 points apiece. Going nearly perfect. Yeah, going nearly perfect. It was the tiebreaker that determined it. And we said that the tiebreaker of the length of the men's Royal Rumble match. The estimated time after everything's all said and done was 1 hour and 32 seconds. 1 hour 32 for the men's Royal Rumble match. You guys were 20 seconds apart. It was that close. But again, by the mere 20 seconds, Nick retained. Nick is...
Where's my sign?
I didn't even know I was in contention.
I deleted the overlays. Okay, well, we're just point. Nick, point anywhere. Point somewhere. Nick?
He's frozen.
Losing? Okay, fine. Well, there's a graphic in the middle of the screen. Here's your point, you son of a gun.
That's the worst pointing I've ever seen.
I agree.
Pretend it's the WrestleMania sign. You gotta really point to that thing.
Here's the results of the predictions. Like I said, very, very close. Nick was in a great spot with having, I believe, Rhea having Bianca at the end of the day. Rhea, Bianca, and Bayley. That was a heck of a trio there. Wolf, obviously, with the number one entry, which we're going to discuss too later on. And we didn't include Sasha, Charlotte into the predictions because everybody picked Sasha. There was no point in updating the predictions board. We left the women's tag team in there because Pete went differently. Didn't matter. Didn't matter as Nia and Shayna became tag champs yet again. I was happy I was wrong with the WWE Championship. Again, we're going to get to that when we get to that. So let's get right to it. Lots to discuss. Do we want to talk about the women's tag? Is there anything to say about the women's tag? We're just going to move on from the women's tag. We're moving on for the women's tag. Okay, all right, good for them. Let's talk about Sasha Carmella to start. Very simple, very straightforward match. Second time to go around. Nothing extravagant, nothing spectacular. I'm going to start with Nick on this one because I realized we went last with him on nearly everything else. So, Nick, if you have any thoughts on it.
So all the ones you could have gone first with me, onto the one that I have the least amount of thoughts on. We all watched it together and we were trying to sync up, and I was way ahead, so I turned mine off and then I couldn't get back into it. So I can't really remember a lot about the match, to be honest. It was fine from what I remember. It was the right winner.
All right.
And Sasha was on the Mania. That's all I got. I'm sorry, guys.
I put you on the spot and I regret nothing. RJ?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really have a ton of thoughts on this match either. Like, it's really about as good of a match you're going to get out of Carmella, I think. Carmella, I don't mind Carmella. I think she's fine, but you're not going to get 4 or 5-star classics out of her. Quick, simple, easy. Match was fine. Right winner, and hopefully she moves on to a big match at WrestleMania. So, totally fine with this match. Right winner, and got it out of the way quickly.
Pete?
Yeah, I only had 2 big thoughts on this match. Sasha is phenomenal. Like, she pretty much saved Carmella's life at one point in this match in that suicide dive.
Oh yeah.
That was ugly.
That was terrifying. But if you watch that back, Sasha does an unbelievable job of like catching her and slowing down her momentum so she doesn't just smack her head straight into the floor. So fair play to Sasha on that. And Carmella was kind of robbed because Reggie getting ejected was a disgrace in this match. He did nothing wrong whatsoever. All he did was catch someone, put them down gently, and got slapped for it and thrown out. Like, that is absolute bias from the referee there. Utter disgrace. Carmella needed him for emotional support and coaching by that side of the ring. You've seen how athletic he is. He can coach her through some of those spots, and she lost that. It threw her match out, and that's why Sasha won.
So you're saying Carmella would have won without the ejection, obviously.
Oh,
Right?
of course not.
Of course.
Wolf?
I mean, I was kind of Grandpa Simpson in like during this match. It's point, get to the Rumble, because I think like this was like mathematically one of the Rumbles had to be next after that. So I'm on the watch along with Pete and Nick, and we're all just like, okay, nothing wrong with this match, nothing bad, like nothing great about this match. We just want to get to the Rumble. Like, I don't have any real thoughts. I mean, Pete has a really good point. Sasha did save Carmella's ass. And I think the whole Reginald getting thrown out thing was kind of an Eddie Guerrero homage. Like, oh, the referee thought that Reggie did something wrong while his back was turned. So I'm okay with that in a sense. But so it's a fine match. It's nothing great, nothing I'm going to go back and watch again. We just wanted to get the hell to the Rumble, you know?
That's true. That is very true. I mean, yeah, that was my mindset throughout. I mean, like assuming that one of the Rumbles was going to be next, so we're like, okay, let's get a move on. It was what it was. Let's talk about. We're gonna save the Rumbles for last, obviously. So we're gonna keep you waiting again, I guess, in terms of discussing. But we're gonna jump to the match that opened the night, obviously, which is we're all gonna have a discussion about the WWE Championship. Goldberg didn't win. He didn't do it. I said last week that I was hoping and praying that I was wrong, because I didn't trust them. I can trust WWE just a little bit more now because they did not pull the trigger. And I mean, for what it was, not bad. I mean, it was very similar to what Wolf and I saw at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. To get all the actions done before the bell rings, and as soon as the bell rings, just get quickly to the end of the match. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, like the handshake at the end was nice. Okay, great. You know, Goldberg, sign of respect. Drew McIntyre, sign of respect. You know, okay, they realized, all right, nothing big. And obviously, Goldberg didn't enter the Royal Rumble, which was everybody else's concern. As soon as they heard that Drew and Goldberg was opening the night, I knew I was a little bit scared, especially around entries 28 to 30 in the men's Rumble. Didn't happen. So for what it was, okay, we got the match. We got the right result. We got the result that everybody wanted, and we just casually move on. So let's go first to the person who loves Goldberg the most. Wolf?
You invite me to your podcast 5 minutes in advance, and then you roast me. I have paperwork to do. Damn it!
Hey! I see. Look, I put you first, so you don't have to say. So you can just get your thoughts out of the way, and just let everybody make their round, and you don't have to wait for everybody to talk about Goldberg.
Shut up! Just shut up. Okay. Like, we all know. We know how I feel. We know how we feel about, Ryback Sr. The thing is, it pretty much went the best way it possibly could have, other than not happening at all. There were too many, like, oh, God, don't do this. Don't do it. Oh, God. Edge of my seat. Pete had a whiskey. I had gin, ready to just chug it the fuck down. Break glass in case of emergency. And they did really good on playing on the fact that people don't want Goldberg to win, and they really teased that tension well. So I'll give WWE credit for that, but not a lot. It was fine. Whatever. It's fine. It's the rise of Skywalker of Goldberg matches. You know, it's fine. Whatever. It sucks. It's great. Whatever you fucking feel. It's just there. It's fine. It happened. Let's move on. Let's never talk about it again. Let's go on to things that we actually want to do. Let's go to Disney Plus and watch The Mandalorian, where there's actually good content. You know, for goddamn it, enough with Bill motherfucking Goldberg. Pete, you next.
To carry on from that, thank the gods of Olympus and all that is holy that this is the outcome we got. The great inevitable plague of Goldberg did not come to pass for once. Eventually, the cursed stars will probably align and threaten us with it again, but for once, we stopped the apocalyptic hell from raining in on us and purging us into darkness. We failed with Kevin Owens. We failed with the Fiend. We got a little bit too close for comfort this time around, but at least Drew prevailed and everything is acceptable. Because I'm not going to say it's good, because this wasn't good. I still hate that this match happened, but this was like the best bad outcome that could have come from it. Drew winning, clean. No Miz cash in, no Goldberg in the Rumble. That's the best case scenario that could have happened here. And that's what we got, given the terrible situation we had to be put in the first place.
It's true. Pete, do you want to pass it off to anybody? Do you want me to do it? Who do
Nick, your turn.
No, I'm steering this fucking ship when it comes to no goddamn Goldberg, and I choose RJ next. Let's get this done. Get this. Let's move on. Let's keep this going. RJ and then Nick and then
my own podcast. All right, I guess
we're not talking about Goldberg fast enough. Come on,
I don't have a ton to say about Goldberg. This match was pretty much the same thing I said about the Carmella match. This is as good as you're going to get with Goldberg. But why did it happen? Is really just the common theme here. Didn't need to happen. When the match ended, I wasn't really so worried that Goldberg was going to be in the Rumble, as I thought during the handshake that he was going to spear him and we were going to have Miz as the champion in the next 5 minutes. Like, that's kind of where the tension was with me at the end there. I actually kind of thought Miz might be leaving his champion in 5 minutes, but thankfully that didn't happen. They did the little laugh it off, ha ha ha, sign of respect. Goldberg to the back, hopefully never to come back out again.
Nick.
Yeah, thank God this went on first. I think once this finished, we could all relax. I'd had 6 beers by the time this match had finished. As soon as it was done,
and they were all during that match.
They were all during the match.
2.5 minutes long, you went through 6 beers.
Did we record the Discord?
Oh God, I hope not. I felt rough the next day. I really liked the start of this match with Drew hitting him with a spear. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I like that. I did like that.
And it was probably exactly what it should have been. Drew wins. Goldberg raises his hand, and like Pete said, if that's the last thing Goldberg ever does, fair play. Carry on. Forget about him. Let's move on.
I mean, realistically, it probably won't be. I mean, yeah, now we were.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
Oh, thanks for bringing the mood down, Jose.
He wasn't on Raw last night.
Okay, guys, so now we're moving on to our next match.
Look. This is not your show. Look, I mean, I get it. I understand. I mean, yes, like we'll probably see him again, but at least for now, we can at least be happy that WWE did it perfectly. WWE handled the scenario well. I think they handled the social media outrage pretty good as well, because they knew that they would have been worse for them if they brought him into the Rumble. They didn't, so good on them. And if God, hopefully, again, it's not that I want him there, but if so willing, if
You're
it
the
happens,
kind of person that would say Beetlejuice 3 times, aren't you?
No, but I'm just saying, like, if we do see Goldberg at Raymond James, then non-title, because we've seen it before. So we're gonna put.
I don't mind seeing him again.
I wouldn't mind it.
Something like he did at SummerSlam. That's fine.
Exactly. If that's what we see on Raymond at WrestleMania in 60+ days, so be it. So be it. So we move on.
Retribution, like I said.
I would put Goldberg over Retribution, but I'm not going to get into that conversation.
Right.
So let's move on to the Universal Championship. This was a short card. We're skimming through already halfway because I know a lot of our focus is going to be on the Rumbles, but the Universal Championship, Roman retaining. As expected, we all predicted Roman. That was like the worst kept secret alive, if that was a secret. Really, really great match overall. I love that Kevin Owens got run over in center field at Tropicana Field. I will not look at center field again the next time I see the Tampa Bay Rays play, because I'm going to know where a fly ball is caught. That's where Kevin Owens was run over or jumped off a forklift. However, obviously, I have to. I know we're all probably gonna talk about it. The weight of the botch at the end of the match. Oh my goodness, I was saying that it's probably one of the worst botches I've seen in Paul Heyman trying to uncuff Roman, and the referee suddenly stopping at 5 or 6, and like Kevin Owens already won the match like 5 times as he was trying to uncuff him. It's unfortunate. It's such an ugly mistake that you should not have happened. It should have been. I mean, I just either. Kevin Owens just did a really, really, really good job at cuffing Roman to whatever it was, the post, the scaffolding, or Paul Heyman just can't find the target, can't find the hole.
Meltzer said what it was today.
Oh, that's a bit dirty, Jose.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, like it was a great match. It's just I hated the botch. I love the creativity of going around. I was hoping, like I said last week, I was hoping they would go around Tropicana Field, take advantage of some of the scenery, and they did in the outfield. So good on them. But I mean, like I said, just the botch is just so frustrating, and it did bring down the match for me just a little bit, unfortunately, because it feels like just like one of those like just slips, like, or like a move, just like not like you don't have the person on properly, then that's fine. But when it comes to something like that, yeesh, I think next time bolt cutters, I think, will be your best friend. Yeah. Bolt cutters have to be like on standby moving forward. Like I don't know what to say. RJ, let's start with you.
Yeah, I actually thought that Heyman had bolt cutters when he came in first. I'm like, oh, there's Heyman with the bolt cutters. Like, this is actually kind of genius. And then he's sitting there for a minute just trying to unhook him, and I'm like, oh shit, like he actually can't get him out. And it sucks because this match was perfect up to that point, in my opinion. I thought this match was amazing. This was a really good last man standing match, one of the best matches they've had in the past year since there's been no fans. They used Tropicana Field, they went backstage like Jose said. The spots were really good, jumping off the forklift. I thought that was really creative. I thought the whole match was really good. They actually even suckered me into thinking Kevin Owens won when he did have him handcuffed to the whatever we're calling that thing, and then he at the last second grabs the ref and pulls him. I thought that was brilliantly done, and then all of a sudden they can't get him unhooked, and it totally just like fucked the match for me, like killed it for me.
Yeah,
which really sucks because this is one of my favorite matches up to that point. Like, this match was awesome, and then all of a sudden it just like the referee like, why are you even counting if you're just gonna stop? Like, make sure you can get him undone. It all ended up just really dragging it down for me. But other than that, the performance that Kevin Owens and Roman put on was amazing, in my opinion. I love this match until the last couple minutes, and now that is what it is.
I also feel like it's somewhat on Roman a little bit because like you see that he had like enough slack to at least crouch.
He could have.
He could. So like I feel like if it's all in the moment, obviously, but crouching I think would have technically stopped the count because he's like, hey, I'm alert here, I'm just stuck. Right, and then that gives the referee a reason to count, but he was still on the ground, he was still lying down, and then obviously 10, 11, 12, 15, whatever. Nick?
Yeah, this was a really fun match. Obviously, like I said before, they've got really good chemistry. The golf cart spot where he just came out of nowhere was fantastic. It all got us out of our seats. When Kevin Owens is in a match, he's going to jump off of something really high and do something really stupid. I love the spot when he grabbed the ref and pulled him over because I think at that point I thought, oh my God, Owens may actually win. And then the finish, it bothered me at the time because it kind of diminishes a bit after where he chokes him out, and we were all kind of like, oh, is that really it? But at the end of the day, it's not going to bother me so much because I enjoyed the match so much before. Apparently, Meltzer said today the reason it took him so long is because he handcuffed him the wrong way and the hole was on the bottom of the handcuff, and that's why he couldn't unhook it. But
really,
so the angle.
Yeah, apparently so. I don't know if I should believe that. Like Jose said, just have some bolt cutters nearby just in case things like that happen. But, yeah. So
you're saying, like, for example, like I said, like this is the handcuff, like it was the key hole was underneath.
Couldn't put the key in the hole quick enough or something.
Like, why even send the other ref out? The other ref's laying on the ground. They send a new ref out to start counting before Roman's even up yet.
Well, again, like they anticipated that he was going to get out.
For sure, but I mean, make sure he gets out, and then if he doesn't get out, then at least you have somewhat of a.
We spoke about this earlier. Do you think they even acknowledge that anymore, or did they just completely ignore that it even happened?
What, the key? The botch?
I don't think they're going to say anything about it.
I don't think they would either. Like in theory, like I said, they could go, oh well, the reason the ref stopped counting is because Roman's got so much power backstage. He told him to. No, I don't think they will do that, but it's sort of a way they want to get out of it if they wanted to acknowledge it.
Again, that's where I would have improvised because remember at the same time he put Adam Pearce in a gauntlet match, which is a higher authority, a higher figure than a referee. You could have just easily said, "Hey, shut your mouth for like 5 seconds," and then let me get. Like
there was a thing on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago when Jey Uso was speaking to Charles Robinson, and he said, "Do the right thing, or he'll get you fired." So they could use that if they wanted to.
Yeah, Jey Uso on a walkie-talkie. Wolf?
Okay, relax. I'm giving you back control of your show. Yeah, no, you didn't. Anyway, I feel like, this was a great match. It was a lot of fun, some great spots. It didn't just feel like they were setting up spot to spot. It had fluid, it had motion. Like everything went organically into the next piece. Like the golf cart into the forklift, into the table, into the back outside, through the stage. It had a good flow to it. I really enjoyed everything about it. And Pete can attest to how long I laughed at the golf cart happening. That was amazing. That was hilarious. Like it was a good remix of what they did with Kenny Omega and Sammy Guevara last year. So, I greatly enjoyed that. I feel like the two spots definitely like have their own place. It's just hard to talk about this match without ignoring the botch because, a great movie can be ruined by like one really bad scene. I'm struggling to think of an example right now.
See, like if the scene happened in the middle of the movie, you're clear because you get that big finish, right? You get the big moment.
Wait, I got it. The Liam Neeson movie, The Grey. Like basically, it's a great movie about survival, exploration, and it's building to this tense climax where you expect to see Liam Neeson get in a bare knuckle fight with a wolf, and then all of a sudden the credits just roll like right as he's charging at the wolf. It's like, well, okay, this was a great movie, but the ending just sucked because it stopped. Like it just came to a screeching halt. And I could make a million jokes about Paul Heyman knowing his way around handcuffs somehow, but the point is, I just feel like they could have called a better audible than they did. They just kind of, vamped. Even Paul Heyman, like handing him the keys and like standing up and saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, while my client unlocks himself, let me tell you about." I don't know. There was just anything else they could have done would have been better than awkwardly like fumbling with keys.
Fair, Pete.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point. Like you can put the blame. Like people saying, "Oh, Roman should have improvised." Like he could have improvised. He could have maybe yelled at the ref and said, "You dare count this, and I'll have you fired," because he's actually conscious enough to do that. But you can't, you maybe should use ball cuts. You maybe should have used cuffs which are gimmicked. But you can't expect a grown man to take over a minute to unlock a lock. No one can factor in that. No one can factor for him and being a stupid idiot when it comes to it. Like he's clearly got not enough experience being with kinky games in the bedroom. Like,
oh, John, I was subtle about my reference. Come on.
But moving away from the botch, the match was fantastic. Kevin Owens is really taking after Austin now. He's inherited the stunner. He's inherited getting run over by a Samoan.
I did it for The Rock.
And it's a great spot. But Roman hasn't had a bad pay-per-view match since he's returned. Like every single one has delivered for me. Yep. Like they're really playing to his strengths, and his strengths are these hardcore, no DQ gimmick matches. And when it comes to these type of brawls, he is fantastic at them. He always has been, and it really is what he's suited for. And yeah, the botch kind of ruined this match. It's unfortunate, but I'm glad. I hope they don't reference it. I hope they just move on from it, and I'll try to enjoy what happened before it because Owens is an absolute maniac.
Yeah,
I don't think any of us really want the feud to go on, do we?
No,
that's it.
No, it probably wouldn't. I mean, probably shouldn't. I mean, again, to this day, I mean, as great as the match was, I was still expecting Nakamura in that spot because of the Gauntlet match, and then this whole thing started. I mean, I think it was great for Kevin Owens to be in that spot, and I don't know how Nakamura would have done in that situation, but I've also, if I was Adam Pearce, I would have said, okay, he literally won the Gauntlet match. Now throw him in there, and you take on Roman Reigns and get your rightful spot, right? It just felt like Nakamura just feels like kind of just left out, which kind of sucks. And
I don't needed to close the story on Owens though, because he was chucked off the stage, went for a couple of weeks.
That too. So, and like I said, it was what it was. It was great. Again, we're all in agreement that just a tough ending at the end of the day. But let's move on to obviously why the Royal Rumble is called the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble match. I said Royal Rumble way too many times there. Let's start off with the Women's Rumble. Bianca Belair booking her ticket to WrestleMania 37, entering at number 3. We were having a big discussion in the last 2 weeks on when was the last time a single-digit winner won the Rumble, which was 2009 and Randy Orton, and we got it again for the first time since 2009. And I was in my group chat last night talking with these guys, and then Pete caught my hypocritical words, and rightfully so. Because for week, I'm gonna say this. Sorry, I'm gonna say because I knew this was a platform to talk to you guys. I'm gonna say this. I don't think I would have booked Bianca Belair. I still don't think, because I know we all picked Alexa because Alexa was just the more intriguing storyline, especially when she was meddling with the champion. We all know how that went with Alexa, just eliminated, I think, in under a minute, if not 2 minutes max. I maybe wouldn't have booked Bianca there, but when it comes to the pool of up-and-coming talent, Bianca is, yes, the more convincing person out of all of them to give that spot. If you were to give that spot, there was nobody on the men's that, up and coming, I would have given the spot yet. And on the women's side, not too many options either. And again, like we know, WWE has a tough history of booking up and coming stars or trying to make stars, right? But they pulled the trigger on this. I'm happy at the end of the day. It was definitely a fantastic winner. Bianca somewhat ran the gauntlet at the end of the day, but we're not going to ignore the photo that has been circulating for the screenshot, the still from the Rumble, in which it looked like Bianca's feet touched the floor, which is interesting. Like it looked like the tip, like her toes were touching there, and like near the end, of course, Bianca also flirted way too much with being like nearly eliminated. I think about 4 or 5 times in a match. I'm like, are you may accidentally be eliminating your winner here? Like, please be careful. And then you got that. So I don't know if it's going to continue or not. Aside from that, I thought the match was okay. The 24/7 title shit was so unnecessary. Do we really need to throw that in there? I was like, it was a fun.
I kind of liked it.
I hate it.
So did I, actually.
I didn't like
kind of
it.
liked it.
I know.
It was a fun little spot, but it's like, hey, like Alicia Fox, she was supposed to be in the first Women's Royal Rumble, replaced by Kairi Sane. I believe the reports were saying she finally gets that moment. In comes a group of men just running around like crazy, and then she gets the pin, gets the title, and then Truth gets it back or whatever. I don't know. It was just like a big mess. It was great to see Victoria. Surprisingly great to see Jillian Hall, as weird as that sounds, because we all know she was one of the most annoying characters in the mid-2000s. Yet I popped. I'm like, oh my god, I remember that ugly, shrill voice of Jillian Hall. Tori
Wolf
Wilson.
didn't know who she was.
Sorry?
Wolf didn't even know who she was.
I figured you wouldn't know who she was, but that Tori Wilson, a nice little surprise there. I think those were the only big surprises. Lana coming back, which was okay. That was hilarious seeing her eliminate Nia. But yeah, congratulations to Bianca. I'm very happy at the end of the day that she got the spot. Again, I wouldn't have given the spot to her initially, but now that it's now that it's come and gone, it makes me want to tune into SmackDown. It makes me see what the direction is going to go. I'm going to presume it's going to be Sasha. We'll see what happens. Wolf, we'll start with you on your reaction to the Women's Rumble.
Well, before we begin, I understand there's been like some controversy about some comments you've made like on this podcast, like you said, and I just want to clarify something. This is a pen.
Oh my god!
Adults use pens. You use a pencil when you're doing a math problem or a science project. This is a pen. You use a pen. All right. Sorry, had to get my 2 cents in there. I've been gone for a little while, guys. I have to, Anyway.
Sometimes in crossword puzzles too, because like if you.
Okay, yeah, like a newspaper
right
puzzle.
But
for the life of me, who does newspapers anymore? Anyway,
get to your comments.
That was just become a recurring theme on this podcast.
Rumble.
Get to the Rumble. Okay. Honestly, like, I was at the 2018 Rumble, so that's always going to hold a special place in my heart. I think this slightly edges it out because it had a nice flow of story for me. Enough going on that I enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't all just nostalgia because the first Rumble was just really like, hey, let's see how many cameos we can get. And admittedly, they were all pretty great. This one felt like it was telling cohesive narratives, evolving your entire roster. Maybe not as strong as last year's Men's Rumble did, but I'd call it pretty good up there. And Alexa Bliss was definitely a red herring. Like, I think they might have built her up purposely as a red herring, like in the weeks before. And I have to give credit to Alex Mirza. They were really smart with Rhea Ripley when it came to Alexa Bliss. Like, the second everything started to change, like, Alexa's just sitting there, and we're like, okay, oh god, she's about to change. And to his credit, and this is pretty funny, Alex is like, okay, just throw her out. Somebody be smart, throw her out. And Rhea did. Rhea Ripley might be one of the smartest wrestlers ever. Just like, okay, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Get out of here. Shoot. So, and I think we were all expecting her to come back, but she didn't, which, didn't bother me.
Right.
Bianca is definitely someone I've always seen potential in. Like, I'm not Sam Roberts. I've always seen that she's athletic. She has charisma. She's talented. She's just got it. And I've always wanted to see her shine, and this is the perfect way to do it. And I don't know about you guys, but the post-match promo, that was wonderful. Like, one of the most authentic, emotional things I've seen in WWE in probably the longest time. I think since the first time Sasha won the Raw Women's title, like, that's the last time I saw something that, like, rang that authentic.
It's a while back, yeah.
Like, we have those good promos. We had Edge doing everything he did last year. We have Randy Orton, but I think we just haven't really had that great babyface victory promo in a long time, and this has kind of set the bar going forward.
Oh yeah, I looked it back. It was yesterday. I was watching everything again. I was watching Bianca's promo again. I'm like, I teared up a little bit. I'm like, that's pretty good. Even like, kayfabe aside, that's still such a big spot to be awarded, right? I mean, you're going on to a championship match on the biggest platform this company can offer you. You will be the center of attention for the women's side leading up to that. It's a big honor. So yes, I loved it. You're absolutely right. Very genuine from Bianca. Pete?
I thought this was an excellent Royal Rumble. I think it was by far the better of the two Rumbles on the night, in my opinion. But I've always seen a lot of potential in Bianca. Even when she was back in NXT, I was one of the ones who went, actually, this one is a star. This person is going to go on and do really well. I was always an advocate, despite how much Lex tried to put me off that and said, no, she's crap. Yeah, I was always pushing Bianca as, actually, no, this person's great. And she pretty much showed it in this match. She was brilliant all the way through. Like, you have mentioned like 4 or 5 times she skinned the cat, and that it was really more than that, in honesty. It was so many times. She was involved all the way through this match. She had spot after spot. She was like, you think in that type of situation, you might think, oh, we'll protect her a bit. They didn't. They let her go all out, all the way through it. And to see it as a winner, I think it's an excellent choice of winner. I love that happened. I think the Rumble had a really compelling storylines all the way through, even the undercard stories. I love the Billy and Jilly thing. I think that was great comedy through it. I love Billy Kay in this Rumble. Thought it was brilliant in the first third of it. For Wolf, who doesn't know Jillian Hall, just need to remember she was the person who had a growth eaten out off her face by the boogeyman.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my god. Oh.
I'm sorry, what?
She had like a bowl on her head.
On her feet?
I forgot about that.
Basically, she had like a growth on her cheek, and the boogeyman ate it off her face.
The boogeyman ate it, yeah.
Yeah. That's all you need to know about her. It was nice to see Victoria return.
We was cabinet, isn't she?
Yeah.
She was an assistant to JBL. I remember that. And
oh yeah, I remember this now, like way too vividly.
Yeah. The voice. she tried to create an album, and they milked it.
It was her and Orlando Jordan. Was the
what the fuck is
something like that? Yeah. The 2000s were a wild time, Wolf. They were a wild time. Pete, any other thoughts?
Yeah, which is why I was watching Disney Channel like a normal kid.
Okay, all right. Well, sorry, Pete. There's
like the Iconics Riot Squad like teasing for feuds with Billy. I really liked as well. I think NXT had a pretty good show, and obviously Rhea Ripley had a fantastic showing. I think she got like 7 eliminations in the end. And the final 2 is probably the best final 2 showdowns since Taker Michaels.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll agree with that.
Brilliant. Like, absolutely brilliant last 2 showdown. There's a few bits I didn't like. I'd say I hated the 24/7 stuff in this Rumble. I hated it. Like, can we go a women's Rumble without involving a man? That would be great. Because since 2018, we haven't done it.
No, the first one didn't have one.
I said since 2018.
What was 2019?
2019 had Hornswoggle in it, chasing off Zelina Vega. 2020 obviously had Santino in it.
Yeah.
Would you count
this one? And this one has 24/7 shenanigans in it. Just, we don't do these types of thing in the men's Rumble. Can we, like, for a while, can we treat the women's as if it's really good? I hated that stuff going on. The Alexa stuff I didn't like, I'll be honest. Like, not the fact she came in and got eliminated, the fact then nothing happened. Like, no kind of even appearing as a demon to eliminate someone. And they even teased it. Like, 30 took so long to come out. Number 30 was about a 4-minute gap between 29 and 30 coming out.
There was a big gap.
They're getting Alexa ready. They're getting Alexa ready. She's doing the makeup and stuff. Then it even attacked Natalya outside of the ring. So it's like, oh, they're attacking Natalya. She's not going to be able to make it. Someone's taking the spot. And they just didn't. And I have one more. And this is more of a Jose point. The rules of the Royal Rumble that both feet touch the floor. I've always interpreted that like NFL touchdown rules.
Yeah, with Naomi. Yeah.
I hated that spot with Naomi. I feel like if you fall on your arse outside of the ring, you should still be eliminated.
Yeah.
It should be like 1 foot doesn't count, but like when you score a touchdown in American football, if you get your knee down, that's still a touchdown. If you get an elbow, if you get your arse on the floor, that's still a touchdown. That's how I've interpreted the both feet thing. I hate the fact because there's so many rumbles over the years where someone gets eliminated, lands on the back, and then they're just like, oh, he's out.
Well,
this is opening a whole new dimension for me of issues with rumbles. I do not like that spot. Fantastic rumble.
I think out of all of us, Nick is the only one, like, which is great, by the way, that has seen every rumble. I think you were counting down. You were watching nearly every rumble today. So what we're going to need you to do is we need you to do that again. Review every elimination out there, and then get back to us and see if that was the case.
The man has kids. He doesn't have the time for that.
Oh, please.
Your kid can watch it.
I got to 2019.
Sorry, go on.
I watched most of them in work. I didn't watch them all at home. So
work?
Whilst working really hard.
I hope your boss doesn't watch this podcast.
Just before I move on to Nick, to back up Pete's point, Rhea Ripley had 7 eliminations on the night. Yeah. 7 eliminations on the night. Bianca Belair, by the way, was also the first number 3 winner since Ric Flair in '92. And I asked this question, and I kind of want to open the floor before we get on to our last 2 points. If you don't include The Rock, or if you do include The Rock, Bianca Belair would technically would be the first African American person to win the Royal Rumble. Definitely the first African American woman. But if you're not, do you include The Rock? Because if you don't, then you give Bianca that honor, which surprises me that it's took this long since its inception. But here we are. Do we say that? I kind of want to say yes, that she is the first African American person.
I guess you can say without a doubt someone has now, which is a good thing to say. Like,
which is
if you included The Rock or didn't include The Rock, at least now you can say for certain.
I feel like that really comes down to how The Rock identifies, like, his heritage.
Like, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I know. They include Samoan in there, but I wouldn't affiliate. I don't know. I'm touching uncharted waters here. I don't want to accidentally offend anybody, but that's just like this. It's a great stat for Bianca at the end of the day. It's so great that again she got that honor. I wanted to call her the first, but
without saying too much, because I don't really think it's really up to me to really say. But I always considered The Rock as both Samoan and black. Personally, his father, like his dad was black.
Right. Well,
Nick, is that who we think it is?
Yeah.
It's my daughter this time. Here comes the other child. Say hi. Hi. Wave.
Hi.
It is not. It's not a podcast.
Why do my kids always overshadow me on this thing? I'll just leave.
They're just natural stars.
Yeah,
Lily, we're your dad's pretend friends on the podcast.
Yeah.
You said he's my pretend friends that you always say.
Hi, Holly.
Bye, Oliver.
But, oh man!
Right, let's get back to it.
All right, yeah, Nick, let's go to you on your thoughts on the Rumble as you continue to talk to your pretend friends, according to your wife.
Yeah, well, I pretend I'm only friends. This was like Pete said, this was definitely the better Rumble of the two. I really enjoyed it. It was going along okay, sort of for the first half. I think there was only one elimination up until Ripley came in, which was Shotzi Blackheart, which is really strange to see.
Oh yeah, it was very cluttered. Very cluttered.
I think the ending of this Rumble made it from a good one to a great one, because having, I think, Belair, Rhea, and Charlotte as the last three was genius, and then getting rid of Charlotte straight away and moving on to the two was fantastic. I've watched the video of Bianca Belair going over the top rope. It doesn't look like to me her feet touch the floor, but I know in the picture it looks like it does. But if you watch it in full motion, it doesn't look like she's touched him at all. The right winner, I think I said I had three, which was Bayley, Belair, and Ripley, and two of them were in the final two. So and they were both my picks. So by that point, I was like, well, I've definitely won this Rumble.
What luck! What luck!
I know.
Just to fact check Nick and be that dick, there was actually 3 eliminations before Rhea came in. Just to be that guy.
It did feel like there was only one,
Jillian Hall and Billy Kay went out before Rhea came in.
I was telling RJ, I'm like, RJ, if you want the Rumble point, you better hope Charlotte wins because it's 2 against 1. He's like, shit, I lost that point.
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna take the L on this one. Like, please do not win, Charlotte. Like, of anybody.
Because I had Rhea and Bianca, even like halfway through the Rumble, I was like, well, I've definitely won this now, because I couldn't see anyone else winning it.
We're also spoiled. I mean, can you imagine if this had fans and that was the final 2 with fans? Oh my goodness, fans would have went nuts.
So
I just want to say as well, you had the conversation in the chat yesterday about who's got the best point at WrestleMania sign. Bianca is up there. She had a really good, excellent point.
It was a good one.
Really good one.
The hair twirl, the pointing, the pyro, chef's kiss. RJ, let's wrap up your thoughts on this.
I actually am kind of curious if they do, because I did look at the video too, and it looked, if they did both touch the ground, it certainly wasn't at the same time, because she was kind of like swinging her legs back and forth. But I do wonder if they kind of roll with it, a la like Big Show back in the day, where Rhea comes out and goes, "Your feet touch the ground, like I deserve another chance," like, and maybe get like a little fast lane match between the two of them, and then Bianca can definitively go over and move on or something like that. I think that'd be maybe possible.
If I can jump in, like real quick, I think like if they want to do something like that, it really depends on how they want to characterize Rhea going forward. I mean, if they want her to be a heel, then definitely go for that angle. If they want her to be a babyface, then I would avoid it.
Yeah, that's true, actually. And also, because she's the one that eliminated Alexa, maybe they have some sort of thing with Alexa. She didn't allow Alexa to go into the devil state, so maybe they feud now. Going on to Alexa, though, I thought they handled this fine if she's going to be in the match and not win. If she's going to be in the match and not win, she really shouldn't have converted into her devilish phase. But I guess if she was just going to get dumped so quickly, I'm surprised they even had her in the match at all. Especially when they dumped her out so quickly before the next entrant even came in. So like you guys said, you thought she might have come out for 30. I thought they might have immediately had her come out as number 28, like eliminate her, and then she becomes the Fiend and then comes out again right away. They didn't do anything with it, which is fine, because throughout the match, I was consistently thinking, I'm like, you know what? Bianca's kind of the shit. Like, she should probably win. So I was happy to see Bianca end up winning. I was happy with the final 2. I thought it was done really well, where they're both kind of like sitting on the apron, and Rhea's like, okay, let's not do anything stupid here. Like, let's just roll in and let's finish the match like properly. And I thought that was really well done. I do think that they flirted with danger with Bianca a little bit too much throughout the match, but obviously she showed off her strength, her athleticism, her abilities a lot, and she was the star of the Rumble and the proper winner. And like Pete said, I thought this was the best match of the 2. So I was really happy with this Rumble. I thought it was great.
Can I just add one tiny point? Like, just one of my favorite spots, I think, in any Rumble was right towards the end there with Bianca and Rhea, where they're both dangling off the side, and they just had that mutual respect point. Just going, let's not do anything stupid. Let's get back in the ring and let's fight it out. Yes. And I love that spot. From 2 baby faces, it just works perfectly in terms
Worked out great.
No, we're going to properly fight this one out. We're not going to do this stupid fight on the apron. Let's get back in and have the best person win.
2 points before we move on. One, thank goodness that Dana's alive after her elimination, because that looked brutal the way she landed on the apron.
There was some brutal eliminations in the women's Rumble.
They're trying to kill Dana Brooke. Nia last week trying to kill her, and on the Rumble.
that was like, as soon as I saw her land, we're like, oh, bless her soul. So thinking she was able to walk. Second, and I brought this up last night for Raw, and I feel like we're about to go off topic here. I think, like, it was great. Like, I mean, quickly eliminate Alexa. Make sure she doesn't go crazy. My problem is, like, that was a live broadcast, and what they've been doing with Alexa lately is obviously in the middle of the matches, you turn the camera away, boom, she's got it, Alexa. Turn the camera back, turn the camera back to she's facing. Boom, she's back to Funhouse Alexa, right? My worry is as soon as fans come back, they lose all of it, and they're shooting herself, and they're kind of slowly putting her into a corner that she can't escape, because this is great that they're able to take advantage of the editing, of the lack of fans and whatnot, and obviously people in the Thunderdome, and I know Wolf has been into the Thunderdome already, that like you're only going to see what's being broadcasted, like what we're seeing like on the broadcast, right? So you're not going to see the behind the scenes stuff. So I'm kind of happy that was what they did in the Rumble, because then it would have been very, very tough to. I mean, probably would have been the fastest costume change I think anybody would have ever seen.
Honestly, that's why I thought 30 was taking so long, though. That's why I thought there was that gap. But I think it depends how far you want to go with Alexa's character and how long you want this to last. Because she doesn't need to keep changing. She could maybe settle on one, settle on the other. You can still do backstage segments if you want to do quick change rubbish, or like weird things where you're in the ring and when they run backstage, she transforms backstage. Like you can do things even when the fans are back. Yes, it's kind of shooting the foot, but it's the same like AEW did it with Matt Hardy, for example. They had him like literally teleport down the stage to the ring in his debut. I think it's fine. I like the fact they're trying this stuff, and it's one of the things I will credit Raw with. I would prefer they try and fail with this type of thing than just not give a shit.
Of course, yeah, and I just like they could do what they're doing with the Fiend, whenever he comes back, because we thought he was going to come back like 6 times in the last 2 days. Like I would have like they can have her in the Funhouse, she transforms in and whatnot, or the lights go out, whatever. But I'm just saying that I think it's just something that they're going to have to start being mindful as, especially now with WrestleMania now being confirmed that there's going to be 25,000 fans for both nights. I think, or actually that was the Super Bowl. My bad. Oh, I'm completely confused.
I think they're waiting to see how the Super Bowl does.
They're going to wait to see how the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't know. I am so sorry. I'm jumping the gun here. Let's talk about the men's Rumble. Let's talk.
Yeah, one quick thing. What do we think is going to happen first? Miz cashing in or the Fiend coming back? Because we all keep saying that both those things are going to happen each week.
Fiend coming back.
RJ?
I don't think Miz is cashing in before Mania.
Yeah, probably the Fiend. I think Miz might cash in at Mania or the night after. So
Monday after.
The night after.
You could cash in on Edge.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh god.
Suck. Let's move on now to the men's Royal Rumble match. Edge, Toronto's own, winning the Royal Rumble match. The first winner since number 1 since 2004. And yes, I am going to bring up his name, since Chris Benoit didn't at the 2004 Royal Rumble. I was saying to myself, I've been saying it for since 2004. Will they ever do it again? It was nearly 20 years, 17 years. Am I doing math? Yeah, about 17 years since that all went down. I was wondering if they were ever going to do it again. I'm like, I don't think so. And I even said like on Twitter a couple of weeks back, I'm like, it's time to see it. And and what was weird was, having backstage on Saturday night saying, okay, Randy Orton is 1, Edge is number 2, and then Edge comes out on 1 anyways. And so that kind of put me a little bit on guard. I'm like, did they flip him for a reason, or did just WWE backstage just mess up? Crazy finish. I mean, somewhat predictable with Orton being gone for nearly the entire match, and then coming to RKO Edge, thinking that he's going to win it. Edge flips the script, literally throws him over, let the pyro begin and the party begin. So obviously, I was extremely happy. I was jumping up and down, especially after I said last week that I think Edge is going to do it. They freaking did it. Of course, you can't forget some of the surprises that were in that match. Carlito, who looks surprisingly well. My God, the man is jacked up. Good Lord. Great to see Carlito again. Who else was I know the biggest were Kane coming back at 18. That was, well,
significantly less jacked.
Yeah, good on you, Kane. And obviously the one that got us, that had everybody on their feet.
Hurricane!
Oh, right, Hurricane at 23. Okay, aside from Hurricane at 23, Christian at 24 comes back for the first time. Competing since.
I want you dare even joke like that.
Was it the same year that Edge retired, or no? He lasted a little bit longer.
I think he lasted longer.
2014.
2014, yeah.
Oh, I'm way
2014, March 2014.
Nonetheless, as soon as the music hit, and as soon as I saw the graphic, and as soon as I saw him come out, I'm like, holy crap. And I was extremely happy for the guy. I mean, we've all wanted him back. Even like last year, as soon as Edge went down, we're all wondering, is Christian going to come back? He took a punt to the head. Never did. He came back on his own, but maybe what felt like his own terms. He looked great. I'm happy he was in the Final Four, but I don't know what we're gonna see with him moving forward. Again, I'm happy for Christian to finally get that spot. At the end of the day, I'm happy for Edge. I'm so stoked. And I was saying that again. I was saying, like, being a little controversial self, if I want to say that in our group chat, saying that out of all the men, like not in a group chat, I was saying on Twitter was, if I have Edge on my disposal, cutting promos at the way that he does, everybody else takes a back seat, and I am immediately putting Edge in that spot without a shadow of a doubt. Edge is that guy for me to do it. I'm happy his second Rumble win on the same day as his first, I believe, in 2010, also on January 31st, which is a weird coincidence. So I'm happy. I'm stoked. I love the decision. RJ, let's start with you on the reaction to that.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously love Edge. I was also kind of, when you already mentioned it, when he got flipped from 2-1, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe they are going to let Edge win this one and then kind of give somebody a winner from number one. Or maybe Edge wasn't the original plan to win until like right before. And then they're like, all right, let's give Edge the win then and make him number one. And then we'll just put all the Benoit stuff in the past, like whatever, and we'll have a new number one winner. Because who knows what happened before that? Like Keith Lee didn't show up. Maybe he was a potential winner, and then they switched to Edge. But Edge is a good winner. I'm happy with Edge winning. I mean, I'll play devil's advocate here for a second, just to be that guy. Do we like are we happy with Edge winning the Rumble because he's Edge and Goldberg is also 100 years old and we don't want him around anymore? It's just because we like Edge? It's just because we like Edge? Or
Edge can wrestle.
What is it? Edge? Oh no, Edge can still go. Trust me. Like Edge can still wrestle. Edge can still cut promos and all that. But are we happy with him taking this spot from somebody else?
Yes.
Yes and no.
I am.
I feel like there's more to give from Edge than there is from Goldberg, and Goldberg's
100%.
in it for his own
like
glory,
150%.
whereas Edge is in it for like the good of the business. Like, it's kind of like we had this debate when Chris Jericho was the first AEW champ. Like, you know, his 2020 aside and shooting himself in the foot online, he's still a very like giving person when it comes to putting other people over, and he's willing to look like a fool. Whereas Goldberg, you know, he was always just kind of in it to look like a superhero in his kids' eyes. So yeah, I feel like Edge is more deserving of this spot than someone like Goldberg. That's not to like necessarily take the age totally out of the equation, but it's a difference between the two.
But but RJ's question is, would you still have given Edge the spot regardless, with knowing that, given the feel that the Men's Rumble had? This
Edge is not my number one. Would not be my number one pick to win this Rumble, but he was probably in like top 3.
I would give it to him.
Like I'm happy enough with Edge winning it, but I still have that issue in my mind with part timers. But I have a soft spot for Edge just because it's Edge, and Edge was always one of my favorites.
Well, I mean, at the same time, Edge's contract is not Goldberg's contract. He will be like
it's still only 5 matches.
He wrestled on Raw last night.
Yeah, case in point, he was on Raw last night.
Yeah, it's closer to a Brock Lesnar contract than it is to a Goldberg contract.
Yes,
he's got like 20 odd appearances a year, and he's going to wrestle about 5 times. So I still have that same issue I have with Brock holding the belt of, I don't like part-time champions or part-time I like wrestling champions, and I like putting younger guys over. So I have some issues with it, but I absolutely love Edge, and Edge has shown that he can still go in the ring. So I have issues, but I'm not against it as well. It's somewhere in the middle for me.
See, I feel like
I still love Edge.
See, I feel like Edge's appearance on Raw this past Monday was kind of like a formality because he was gone for half of 2020, and are using the appearances he would have used then. Now, which we're going to see him more than we probably should have in 2021, which I'll take. And I think that may play into a factor in his Rumble win, knowing that because he's going to have more appearances, they can get their wiggle room, they can get the leniency, and they can see where this goes. Because again, now he's most likely going to be in the main event of WrestleMania, not aside from getting the championship opportunity. But that's a great question, RJ. Any other points you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, back to the actual match. I thought it was fine. I was actually a little surprised that they had Edge win from number 1 to kind of overshadow the fact that Bianca did it from 3 about an hour before that. I thought that was a little surprising to see them do that. I don't know if you guys had the same kind of mindset in that, where they had a winner from 3 and it looked all good, and then Edge immediately won from one again, and especially how we had that conversation last week, how we haven't seen a winner from the early stages, and they immediately had two people win. I thought that was interesting. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. The thing I do have a problem with is they need to stop this. They need to cut this shit out with like Randy Orton going to the back and then coming back at the end of the night and RKOing guy. They absolutely have to stop that. I remember on past shows I mentioned about how Roman Reigns did that years ago. I thought that was BS, where he went and sat in the back and then came back out selling a beatdown. Like they need to not do that. Either get them out of the entire match to the fact that they can't come back, or throw them back in the ring with their injury for them to get thrown to the wolves. Like they need to have some sort of baseline here. I don't really mind people sitting outside the ring as often as they do, which is another thing that I know a lot of people have a problem with. Like Billie Kay sat at the commentary table. I know we've already said that match, but she sat at the table for 10 minutes. Like, why doesn't everybody do that? So there's a few things with the Rumble where why doesn't everybody run to the back and then come back that I wish they'd cut out. But I'm happy that Edge no-sold the hell out of that RKO and then threw him over the ropes, because Orton winning after that would have made me so mad.
Oh, I would have. Yeah, I would have been furious.
But they just need to cut that out. Like, let everybody just in the ring finish the match. Don't send them in the back and come out selling an injury. It's just so cheap.
Of course, in that point, the first pairing, the 1 and 2 pairing since McMahon and Austin to start a Rumble and finish a Rumble. But of course, in both of those instances, both of them, one if not both, were nowhere close to the ring. So technically, if you want to say like true Iron Man, there hasn't been like a proper true Iron Man from 1 and 2 since Michaels and Bulldog, even though that was technically like a 5
Rey Mysterio.
1 and 2.
Oh, as in 2 together, right?
Like the first pairing. Obviously, Mysterio, know that about it. But I'm talking about like
wasn't Rey and Triple H when they 1 and 2? Like Triple H went like 60 minutes as well.
What? When?
2006. Hang on, I'm googling. I'm
talking. I'm talking about the logistical standpoint of having like a physical number 1 entry and a physical number 2 entry, who are the first two and the final two.
There were 1 and 3 at the end, I think, so they were pretty close.
Orton was 30, Mysterio was 2, Triple H was 1 that year. Triple H was eliminated.
Triple H was number 1. He was eliminated number 28. And Randy Orton was the last one that was eliminated.
Point is, I mean, yes, they got the stat of the first pairing since 99. Yeah. It is annoying. Yes, you're right. Nick, let's go to you.
Yeah, this Rumble it wasn't the best, but I think it was all about Edge. The whole story about it. Them having him and Orton at 1 and 2 was a nice little way to sort of cap off their story. And obviously they had the match on Raw last night, and I'm glad that's kind of put a bow on it now, and we don't have to have another one. I was obviously, as I've mentioned before, Edge is my favorite wrestler of all time, so I'm really happy that he's won. We all thought, the majority of us, other than Jose, thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan, and even though he was in the match for quite a while, he didn't really do much, which is a bit of a shame considering he's the one that got the biggest build. And to RJ's point, I really hate this thing of them disappearing and then coming back later, because we all knew it was going to happen. The second he eliminated Rollins, we were all going, but Orton's still in. We all knew he probably wasn't going to eliminate him. Yeah, you have that sort of seed of doubt that you might. But then Edge wins. He said the first winner from 1 since 2004. I think he's probably going to go and challenge Roman. I honestly don't think he's going to win either. I don't think he's going to beat Reigns, if that's the case. He might beat Drew. But yeah, the Roman was fine. The Christian coming back, such a good pop. We all said from the beginning, 1 and 2 was Randy and Edge. We all of us on our stream said, imagine if Christian was 3. And then when he came out, I think it was 24.
24.
It was just fantastic to see. A really emotional moment to see him sort of reunited. And I made this point in the chat. His last match was a number 1 contenders match in a fatal 4-way for the IC title. He never got that match. The champion at the time was Big E, who was also the champion. Book Christian v Big E for the Intercontinental Championship. Make it happen, damn it.
I'd be into that.
I'd be 100% for it. That is a spot I would love to see Big E.
That's continuity.
I think Big E even teased it on Twitter a little bit. He put like a picture of the two of them like face to face as he had the Intercontinental title. So I think that'd be awesome, and it'd be good for Big E to get that match too. So
in theory, we're probably going to get Christian and Randy Orton, aren't we?
No, Christian wasn't on Raw though.
Stop it!
It wasn't on Raw.
If anyone's ever listened to their podcast, Edge and Christian, that they did, which was fantastic, they were always arguing over who has the best friendship with Orton. So if they do it, they do it. It doesn't bother me.
By the way, Daniel Bryan lasted 28.50 and only one elimination. He did not do much at all.
It's a shame.
It's a shame because we all were literally.
The one thing I will say
elimination as well was Bobby Lashley, which like 5 or 6 of them eliminated. It wasn't even like a proper elimination.
The one thing I will say I took from it is I think they may, possibly for Mania, maybe soon, they've probably set up Rollins and Bryan now, though.
Yeah, that's the one positive.
That's the one thing I took from it, which will be great. That'll be a really good match. And they've kind of been teasing that for a while from when he came out and interrupted her promo a few weeks ago. So,
before the most eliminations on the night. Were we talking about the most eliminations, Pete, for the night?
No, I said like 5 people like eliminate Bobby Lashley together.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry.
Priest? Is it Priest?
Big E, Damian Priest, and Seth Rollins all tied with 4.
What
on Sunday?
Sorry, it just froze for me for a second. What did you guys think of Priest's performance? Is he
Brilliant.
somebody we really like, or is he Baron Corbin 2.0?
No,
I think he's better than Corbin. He's
100% better than Corbin.
His thing last night on Raw was weird, though. Why was he coming out with? Is it Bad Bunny? Is that what he's called? That was odd.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. They seem
he
like
came out with Bad Bunny
completely
because he eliminated Miz and Morrison. That's literally the reason. That's the only reason, is because he eliminated Miz and Morrison in the Rumble. And that's
We've seen so many NXT call-ups start up with those small things, so I'm not worried for now. But I really like Priest.
We've seen so many NXT call-ups with those small things and then go nowhere.
Right.
And then they all start with Ziggler.
This guy's not going nowhere. Like they did the John Cena like Edge, like giving him props in the back. Like this guy's not going nowhere. Like they're going nowhere for sure.
Yeah.
Question
Before we move on.
How pissed were you when we got down to like the final 5 or 6 and Matt Riddle was still in the ring?
Stupid. So stupid. I don't get it. I don't like Riddle. I don't like Riddle. Damian Priest can chop him up into like, or like I said in the chat, I hope Goldberg just takes care of Riddle at WrestleMania. Pete, let's go with you.
Honestly, I think this was probably a below average Rumble. I didn't think this was a good Rumble at all. I think it's definitely the worst since 2015 in terms of Royal Rumble. It's nowhere near as bad as 2015. I'll put that out there straight away. It's nowhere near that bad. But it was, like, if you take out Christian returning and Edge winning, you can be really positive about it or not. There was nothing good in this Rumble for me that I actually really enjoyed. Like, Orton was a waste of fucking time. Like, absolute waste of time. I hated that angle as RJ did. And then you did it for a 2-second jump scare at the end. Like, if you're going to do that, at least bring Orton back and have them go 5 minutes at the end. Let them go like a few minutes at least to build some suspense and go, oh my God, which way is it going to go? But I didn't have time to even process what was happening before, Edge has still won. The fan favorites got kind of like nonchalantly eliminated. Nakamura just got tossed by Corbin randomly. Big E got dragged out by Omos, which I really hate. I hate Omos getting eliminated.
Yeah. There's no story.
I feel if you're eliminated by someone not in the match, you should not be eliminated. It seems like a logical thing.
It's it counts.
You can eliminate yourself, so I kind of get that. It's kind of like, I don't know. Anyway, keep going.
It makes everyone else look stupid. It makes Ali look stupid because why is he not coming out with his 6 retribution buddies? Like, it just throws those spanners in the works. Daniel Bryan came out way too late and then not making the final 4 either. He did literally nothing in that match other than a nice little interchange with Riddle at one point. Like, why not have him come in early? Let him come in at like number 5 to help out Edge and then let him have all these interactions with people, because we didn't get any built-up storylines throughout this Rumble. We didn't get any like proper face-to-faces, which you usually see, where you go, oh, these two are going to face off now. But you could have done that. Like Daniel Bryan Cesaro didn't get that. You could have had Daniel Bryan Nakamura early. Styles and Christian, they could have had a great little face-off, like, oh, remember our times together. Seth and Ray, they didn't get like a little standoff again. Remember that feud?
They had Dominic knocked out before Ray even got into the ring too, which also surprised me. They didn't have any sort of. I thought Dominic was going to eliminate Ray.
Sheamus Cesaro did literally nothing, despite being pretty well built going into this Rumble. And then between like numbers 3 and 23, like, or between whenever Orton got knocked out to when Christian came in, nothing interesting happened for me. Like, even like the nice little things, like it was nice to see Carlito, but he didn't do anything. Did absolutely nothing in there. Retribution, Zayn, New Day stuff, that was crap. Ricochet was in it. Ricochet lost a match to qualify for this Rumble. And he was in the Rumble. Why didn't you put like an NXT guy in there? If you're going to do the crap with Bad Bunny, have Booker T come out as your surprise. We know he's there.
I was ready for Booker.
Yeah, I was very surprised.
Yeah, so we all were. We all thought Booker was going to eliminate him.
And this might be... I really hated the ending. I hated the last 5 minutes of this match. The final 6, I really dislike. If you want to do it well, those last 5 or 6 eliminations occurred within about a 3-minute span. There was like no kind of build. There was no suspense. There's no, these are your final 4 moments, which like the well-built Rumbles have. It was done. As soon as Daniel Bryan was eliminated, the Christian Braun elimination was fine, but have Daniel Bryan left in instead of Riddle. Have Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Seth have a mini showdown between 3 of them. Let them have a mini match with the 3 of them, have a final 3 together. Have Seth connivingly eliminate Daniel Bryan, because everyone thought he was going to go the distance. Have him be a potential winner. Then have Edge get the better of Seth after everyone hates him for eliminating Bryan. And then do your Orton scare and actually have them do something. Like, I had nothing in this match which made me go, this is a great match. Like, everything was... Christian's return was brilliant. Nothing, like, beautifully done. Edge winning. I love Edge winning. I don't like the fact he won from number 1. I'll be honest. I would have rather give that to Ripley. Not Ripley, Belair.
Okay, yeah.
I'd rather they gave Belair the number 1 win and Edge, like, I don't know, number 9. Like, somewhere in the early part of the match, but not the number 1. Because if you're going to give someone the number 1 win, I would want it to be someone who can use it for a long time going forward. Like, this person won the Rumble from number 1. And Edge has got a couple of years in him, max. So...
Sorry, RJ, yeah.
As I say, it is kind of odd then with a nearly 50-year-old man to go the distance. I thought that was kind of odd.
But Edge also didn't do anything. Edge literally didn't do a lot in this match. Between after Orton went out and before Christian came in, can you name one thing that Edge did?
Not much, no.
Like, he literally sat in the corner for like 30 minutes until Christian came out, and then he started to compete again. Bianca Belair did a proper Iron Woman. She had like, she skinned the cat out many times you want to bloody say she did it. She eliminated Bayley during it. She had lovely spots with like Naomi. She had a great spots with Rhea and Charlotte in there, and a few others earlier in the match. Like, she felt like she really earned that Iron Woman victory. Edge kind of felt like he disappeared for most. He could have been in the back for all I knew. That's how little I noticed he was in the match until Christian came out.
I mean, I will say that, like, I mean, like, I agree with your point on how, yes, from that perspective, yeah, it does seem kind of random that Edge, from that perspective, would win a 1. At the same time, though, because of how big of the name Edge is, like, already, I kind of see why they put the number 1 tag on him as well, because, like, I mean, even though he's only going to be here for a couple of years, Edge was already such a big name. It just adds more on to the resume that he has. So I do understand the point.
I think I also like new Royal Rumble winners as well. I think that's just personal preference. I always like someone new to win.
Yeah, I mean, I
know it's been a long time and so much has happened, etc. with Edge, but I always still like a little bit of.
I will say I'm more comfortable with this Edge win than if I were to see a back-to-back winner. Because I mean, not because of this, but like because I prefer, like, yeah, I do like new Rumble winners as well. Mind you, this was 11 years, so it's like, okay, great. This is pretty great to see somebody win again, especially a man who technically should have been paralyzed and came back to the
great story.
But I think I would have been more annoyed if we got the result that we were scared about last week, and if Goldberg wins, Drew enters the Rumble, Drew wins the Rumble, and then goes back to back. I think that would have been more frustrating, but
that would just be more frustrating because Goldberg won rather than Drew winning. That would just be the issue with that, is the fact that Goldberg won something.
And Wolf, let's close with you. Everybody's had their thoughts. Everybody circle around. That's all the time we have for you. Are not. Oh.
So, I have thoughts.
Okay.
Jey Uso wasn't in this match. Did anyone else notice that?
No, he was not.
I did, yes.
Yeah, he declared he was advertised. He wasn't in the match. I think that might be why Ricochet was in it.
Yeah, I had a feeling Ricochet was just...
What was funny about Ricochet is Lex said while we were watching it, it was like, we all said, oh, Ricochet might be in it. And he went, oh, no, because he lost the match on Raw. He's definitely not in it. And we all went,
yeah, since when does WWE pay attention to their own
watch WWE? Yeah.
It just feels like anybody else.
Christian, I loved coming back. And I think Pete made this point. It's kind of the most Christian thing ever to make a comeback after 7 years and still have everyone talking about Edge.
Yeah.
But it was just a great moment. It wasn't as big like as if there were people in the crowd. I'm glad that last summer that little tease actually kind of paid off. I just can't stand that Matt Riddle tried to get in on it. Like, there's that big tear-jerking moment with Edge and Christian. They're reuniting in the ring. Yeah. They have this hug that isn't going to turn into, wait a minute, what is he doing? And then Riddle's just like, hey, let me get in on this too. I'm like,
kind of what they've done with him, though, isn't it? Nobody cares.
I swear to God, I'm just done with Riddle. I'm done with Riddle. I don't think I was ever on board with him, except maybe when he was with Pete Dunne.
Man. Sorry, continue.
I'm like RJ says, when Santino came back at the very end to eliminate Del Rio, I'm sorry, that wasn't this one. When Rusev came back at the very end to eliminate Roman, no, I'm sorry. When Roman came back at the very end to eliminate Triple H, no, I'm sorry again. Oh my God. When Bayley came back at the very end to eliminate Carmella, no, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Okay, I got it now. When Randy came back at the very end to eliminate Edge, it fell flat because, like, we all saw him walk off, and he just overacted the hell out of being carried out. It's like, oh my God, can you try 5% harder to make us think that this is a real injury? Like, this is just taking too long for anyone to think this is real.
I thought it was, but it was because of how many times they focused on Randy that I realized, okay, it's
oh my leg. It always been, I cannot compete in the Rumble anymore.
If they didn't focus on Orton and the amount of times that they did, I would have been okay with it. I would have been okay.
So, and again, Santino did it. Rusev did it. If you even didn't just if you didn't show Randy disappearing and we all forgot about him, maybe it would have had more effect. But it just annoyed us because, again, the dude sold it like a bad Broadway performance. Like, oh no, my leg is lame. I must go recover. Oh God! And I just no. So yeah, I didn't like when Santino came back to eliminate Del Rio. I just did not care for it. Edge.
Hey, I like when Santino came back to eliminate Del Rio. I like that spot.
I wish he eliminated Del Rio.
That would have been the pop of the century.
I genuinely wish Santino won that match.
Del Rio was the last Rumble winner.
Edge was a great pick. It wasn't my pick. I would have preferred Daniel Bryan. I like the possibilities that Edge can set up. They probably could have given this to Daniel Bryan, if they wanted Edge to have a World Championship match, he could have won it at Chamber. But, that's kind of a nitpick on my part. You can always flip that later. Like, the prestige of having won 2 Rumbles, one from number 1, okay, we can give that to him. I feel like the fact it's a really good comeback story. There's a lot of other factors that, could have improve this. Like, he didn't have to be number 1. He didn't have to win the Rumble, to get where he needed to go. But I just feel like this is his second chapter. We were robbed of several months of it last July. Might as well just go all in on it because God knows how long we do have left with Edge. We might as well make the most of the time we have. As far as Christian goes, I heard the rumors that he's just going to be part-time going forward, which I know I could see Pete grinding his teeth in another part-timer, but the point is, we'll play it safe with Christian, give him a couple matches. I feel like he's in the same category as Edge or Jericho, where he's an older wrestler, but he's not selfish in the fact that he will give back, and he could still have a good match, and it won't be all about his ego. So I enjoyed this Rumble. Greatest Rumble of all time for me, I think it might have been last year. That's up for debate. That's up here. Worst Rumble of all time is when Jack Hacksaw Jim Duggan cracked people over the head with a wood board or whatever. I didn't actually see it. 2015, somewhere here. I would put this one right around here. Because Pete made a lot of good points. There wasn't a lot of continuity with ongoing stories. I wish there was. I wish more of it made sense and a focused narrative. But it was fine. It's never good. It's not going to be anyone's favorite Rumble, but it was enjoyable for what it was. And I had a good time watching it.
Also, there's no way 1988 is the worst Rumble. No way am I having Hacksaw Jim Duggan winning being the worst Rumble. Get that out. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Have you
I
seen
wasn't.
Vince McMahon winning the Rumble? Have you seen?
Yes, I have. That's
Those
up
are
here.
so much worse. 1995 is so much worse.
That is up here, sir.
I wasn't obviously I wasn't with you guys watching the Rumble because I was watching it with some other buddies, but I was running around my house in excitement. I was just screaming. I'm like, holy crap, they gave it that edge. And I was more excited about the fact that yes, it's a number one winner, but yeah, then it's sunk in. It's freaking edge. So that's how I'm gonna do this.
I knew I was excited because it was 3:45 in the morning and Holly came downstairs and went, "Can you shut up, please?"
I feel like she does it every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, gentlemen,
Good morning. Shut up.
Gentlemen,
Are we gonna go ruffle some feathers now, or tickle some feathers?
oh, you son of a bitch! I'm going to put a bow here. We went a little bit more over than usual, gentlemen. As always, thank you. The road to WrestleMania has begun, and as always, let's get to the closing. You made it to the end of the episode. You made it to the end, and yes, that was a crazy long episode today, but you know what? It's the Royal Rumble, always a classic, always a favorite, and there were definitely a lot of great talking points today. So thank you to the gentlemen for providing such a great discussion. You know, I was such a big fan of it after we finished recording, and it's just again like the Rumble just always brings up so many good talking points. So, and of course now as the road to WrestleMania is underway, and you know so many things can happen, so many thoughts, and that's all going to slowly come to fruition as time goes on. And of course, we will be back next week with another episode. But for now, that is that. Thank you so much for watching. Become a patron, help support the podcast. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us here on YouTube. I'm Jose Tabuada, and we will see you guys next week. Have a great one. Bye.